Hey guys, welcome back to Blaze Talk, and today we're going to be talking about the announcement of KHAMZAT CHIMAEV versus Kevin Holland. Originally set to be KHAMZAT CHIMAEV versus Nate Diaz, but unfortunately KHAMZAT missed weight by 7 pounds. So they've had to rearrange the fights, and now KHAMZAT is fighting Kevin, who is more his weight range. They both weighed in around 180 pounds, so this is definitely a more fair fight. Stylistically, this should be a great fight. Both men have got a lot of bad blood against each other. Both been talking a lot of crap leading into the fight week, during the fight week. You know, part of the reason why the press conference was cancelled was because of, you know, Kevin and KHAMZAT getting in it, and apparently their teams were clashing. So this should make for a great fight. I believe both men have a lot to prove. You know, KHAMZAT, you know, he needs to get into the octagon, put on a dominant performance, just sort of cool off all the haters out there, because I know a lot of people were disappointed with the way he missed weight and the way he handled it. And then he's going up against, you know, one of the coolest fighters in the UFC. You know, Kevin Holland's extremely likeable. He's got a great fighting style. You know, would it have been nice to see maybe Kevin Holland go down his own path and just sort of find his own groove in the welterweight division and work his way up to the top? Yes, but you cannot complain when you've got two well-rounded fighters going at it, especially, as I say, when there is a bit of beef. It just, you know, intensifies it all the more. And as I say, this is a fun fight. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at KHAMZAT just to walk through Kevin. You know, Kevin has struggled with wrestlers in the past, guys like Brunson, Vittori. You know, even his debut at welterweight and the fights that he's had at welterweight so far, he has been able to get taken down, but he has gotten up fairly quick. He has shown improvements in his wrestling and his wrestling defense, but a lot of people also forget that Kevin Holland's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so I'm sure Kevin Holland will definitely be looking to catch KHAMZAT in a submission, which I think will be very interesting. As I say, I think Kevin's best chance of winning this fight is definitely getting KHAMZAT to stand with him. I do believe Kevin is definitely the better striker. I think he's a bit more diverse in the way he mixes up his punches and his combo. He's got very good kicks, which sets up his hands, so I think he's a more well-rounded striker. You've got KHAMZAT, who's a heavy wrestler, so I think KHAMZAT's ways to victory in this fight is definitely just to fight a similar fight to Derek Brunson and Marvin Vittori, which is just sort of mixing his striking and his wrestling and just sort of dominating from there. Maybe KHAMZAT will look to strike with him just to prove a point. I know he has done that, like with Gilbert Burns. He didn't really throw too many takedowns, and he was very cautious of Gilbert's jiu-jitsu, hence why he didn't really stay in top mount for too long. So it would just be interesting to see how KHAMZAT, you know, how much aware he is of Kevin's jiu-jitsu. And you know, both men have been preparing for very different fights. You know, KHAMZAT's been preparing for Nate Diaz, who's more of a boxer, sort of a forward pressure boxer. Same goes with Kevin. Kevin's been sort of preparing for a boxer, but yeah, I guess KHAMZAT has the more advantages in the fight because he has been preparing for a fighter similar to Kevin Holland. I think, unfortunately, Kevin Holland, as I say, it's a very different style matchup for him, and he has admitted that it is a tougher fight, obviously, but as I said, you can't count anyone out in the UFC. It's going to be 5 rounds, which makes it very exciting, and the fact that Kevin Holland asked for it to be 5 rounds just makes him a true legend. And you know, both men, win or lose in this fight, they're definitely going to gain fans, and they're definitely going to gain momentum. So I am really excited for this fight. As for a prediction, I know it seems like I've been, you know, going against KHAMZAT all week, but I do want to see Kevin get the win. Kevin Holland's one of my favourite fighters in the UFC. He's one of the most fun fighters to listen to, one of the most fun fighters to watch. I'd love to see him just sort of steal all the KHAMZAT side, become, you know, one of the top 3 welterweights in the world, and I think he's definitely, as I say, he's got all the chances of doing it. As I say, if he can just sort of outbox KHAMZAT on the feet, land a big power bomb, catch him in, a submission when he's shooting for a takedown. I'd say a lot of people forget that, KHAMZAT has taken a lot of damage in the Gilbert Burns fight, so it'll be interesting just to see how he looks from that fight and how he's going to react when a big, overhand bomb from Kevin affects him. Kevin's got extreme power. Kevin, he's cutting down from 185, and he was a fairly big, middleweight, so I think he's definitely bringing his power down with him. He showed it in his last 2 fights. So yeah, I think, as I say, if he can just sort of outbox KHAMZAT, land a big strike on him, make KHAMZAT panic, and then catch him in the guillotine, very kind of similar to the way I envisioned the Nate and KHAMZAT fight. They both got very similar chances of winning in different ways. Nate's best chance of winning was to outbox KHAMZAT, tire him out into the later rounds. I think it could be very similar with Kevin. If he can outbox KHAMZAT through the later rounds, KHAMZAT gets a bit sloppy, and then I think the victory's all his. But as I say, like I said, I know it seems like I've been going against KHAMZAT, but I do think KHAMZAT is a great fighter. He's got great potential in the UFC. I just think he really needs to find where he wants to fight. Does he want to really keep cutting down to 170 and having tough, brutal weight cuts? Or does he want to make a home at 185, which I believe it'll definitely be more competitive for him, judging with the way Usman versus Leon has just played out. It sort of puts KHAMZAT behind a little bit. But if he goes up to middleweight, in my opinion, after the Adesanya Pereira fight, judging Adesanya gets through Pereira, there is no real #1 contender for Izzy. Whereas if KHAMZAT, he continues to win, gets a big win over, say, Paulo Costa as a future fight, or maybe a guy like Rob Whittaker, if he goes into middleweight, beats someone in the top 5, then I think he's looking at definitely getting a title shot faster he is there than, say, at welterweight. But yeah, some great fights on the card tonight, guys. I cannot wait for the card. In my opinion, it's even better now. It's just much better for both fighters. They both have more fan-friendly matchups, more sort of even matchups in my mind. Also, Li Jingliang versus Daniel Rodriguez, a great fight for D-Rod to get into the top 15. A nice fight for Li stylistically. As I say, it's more his style of fight. You definitely be looking to outbox D-Rod. Another fight I'm going to quickly mention is Julian Erosa versus Hakeem Dawodu. Now that is the top of the prelims, and guys, you do not want to miss that fight. That will be fight of the night, I guarantee it. Julian Erosa always brings it. He's one of my favourite fighters on the UFC roster. He's never in a boring fight. He brings it every time. It should be a great scrap. Great card. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my previous video, which has got tons of support and has, I believe, 250 views. So thank you very much for the support. Stay blazed and peace.